Good to go?
I guess, yeah.
Maybe it's 5 past.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do today. I'm going to say welcome to you, welcome to Northeastern, tell you a little bit about...
Tom, you need the mic.
Oh, that's right. Dr. Johnson is not here, as far as we know. He may pop in at some point in time. I know I'm pretty sure he's on campus, but he may be at a meeting. He's our boss, and we do the teaching, so we're going to talk to you about the teaching stuff. We're not going to talk to you about how Dr. Johnson does administration. But let me just say that if you need to talk to Dr. Johnson, he's on the 5th floor of Dana, which is the building that connects to this building. Sometimes people get this building confused with Dana, and they go looking for Dana. And it's non-existent if you think it's part of this building. So you don't end up walking around in circles. Once you go through those metal doors over there, you're in the Dana building. And you'll know because it's the physics department. And you know the kinds of things that physics people put on their doors? You know, things about, you know, splashing rockets and all that kind of stuff. So if you get into a building where they're talking about physics and all kinds of stuff, and they got posters all over the door, and the building looks like it's about 7 times older than this one, then you know you're in the Dana building. So you can find John in the Dana building. You can find all the co-op people in the Dana building. We can even find some of the professors in the Dana building. I'll wait till you get introduced. So just to give you an overview, Dr. Johnson is the Assistant Dean of Multidisciplinary Graduate Education and Digital Learning. You are part of the multidisciplinary program within the College of Engineering, the Engineering Management. This is Tom Cullinane, who's talking to you right now. I'm the Director of the Engineering Management Program. When I came here, the dinosaurs were walking in the Fenway over here. And I've been here for quite a while, so if you have any questions with regard to what's happened here at the university over the last multi-decades, I think I can answer the questions for you. One of the things that kind of scares me is that 3 or 4 of the people that are professors in the same department that I'm in, the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department, Professor Freeman, she was a student, she was a freshman when I was here. She's come through from freshman to senior to graduate student to PhD student to now she's a professor. And when I talked to her the other day, and I won't divulge to you how long she's been here as a professor, but quite a while. So it's kind of scary, but the point being is that I've watched the program grow, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and what some of your expectations should be and some of the things that we learned as the program was growing. One of the things that we've been striving to do in the engineering management program is to bridge the gap between engineering, technology, and business. Several times I've heard people from industry say that the engineering management program here at Northeastern is really an MBA for engineers. They like to think of it that way, where you get a background in business and you get a background in those areas of business which are important with regard to managing people and being able to display your leadership skills. We try to teach decision making. That's the main thing that we're striving to do, is to make you experts in decision making. Decision making on the technical level, decision making on the business level. We focus on theoretical, quantitative, and analytical skills. You'll see that as we go along and we talk about what the program is all about, analytical skills become a very important part of this program, and it will be the focus, and it's up to you to kind of take electives which integrate those analytical skills into areas that you are interested in. I would venture to say that 90% of you are engineers. Definitely, your engineers are technical people. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you a skill set, a decision-making skill set, which integrates into your undergraduate program, integrates economic decision-making and quantitative type decision-making skills. So as you go through and you look at the program, you'll see that we're trying to develop mathematical decision-making skills to solve business problems. But when we say business problems, I underline that because often people think of business problems as just like accounting problems. When we talk about business problems, we're talking about scheduling. We're talking about developing new product. We're talking about all kinds of other things that we don't think of as business skills. And as we go through the program, not this program this morning, but as you go through the overall program, you'll see that there are multiple skill sets that you thought were something other than business skills. It goes far beyond accounting, goes far beyond those kinds of decision-making areas that are related to accounting. History of the program. I wasn't here when it first started, even though those dinosaurs were still here. I think, I've done a little bit of research on this, but I think it was somewhere in about the 1958 to 1960 time frame where a group of people in a group of managers from some very high-ranking companies within the Boston area, mostly companies that supported the research and development that was going on at Hanscom Field. Hanscom Field used to be the Center for Research for the U.S. Air Force. And in support of that, we had a lot of very highly technical research going on. And for those of you that are from the Boston area, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that aren't from the Boston area, there's a route that goes around the Boston area, goes from ocean to ocean, if you will, called Route 128. And then if you go about another 15 miles out, or 20 miles out, you have Route 495. And so between Route 128 and Route 495, there's all kinds of engineering-based companies. Well, a whole group of people from those engineering-based companies, and engineering and computer-based companies, a whole group of managers from those companies came to Northeastern and said, we really like your co-op students, your undergraduate co-op students. We find them very beneficial to have them. They do good work for us, and ultimately they become very, very good experienced employees. But one of the problems that we run into is that they're very technical. And when we try to make them managers, they don't have the skill set. Well, we could let them go ahead and get an MBA, but if they get an MBA, that MBA doesn't include technical management, and we want them to become technical managers. And so the president of the they met with that was the level that they were at. The president of the university and then responded to them and said, well, why don't you put together a committee and tell me what you'd really like to see? What kind of a program would you like to see? And lo and behold, what they did was they described in somewhat high level, not too much detail, but in a very high level, they described the engineering management program. And so that was the beginning of our program. It was designed by managers, by high-ranking industrial firms, and some academic leaders. Mainly, when the president made the decision to institute this program, the engineering management program, they went out and they recruited a person to head up the program, and the person that they recruited was a person from Arthur D. Little, who had been a professor at MIT before going to work for Arthur D. Little. Arthur D. Little is a big consulting firm in the Boston area. And he had been a vice president there. So he had this academic background as well as an industry leaning. So what we found is that this committee came up with the idea that they would have about half electives and half required courses. And those half required courses would be the courses that they would teach decision making. And so they said that what we'll need to have is some decision-making mathematics. We'll need to have some economics, of course. That's going to be really important. And some type of leadership, some type of understanding of how to manage projects. And so that's where your probability and statistics and operations research, that's where the mathematical decision making comes from. The economics, that's where the economic decision making comes from. Notice the names haven't even changed, and we were talking about way back in the 1960s. And we're still teaching the same stuff. But it's fundamental stuff. It's stuff that doesn't change from year to year. It's like F equals MA. There's nothing new in F equals MA. There's nothing new in the way in which we integrate. And it's the same thing. You're learning the fundamentals in those 16 hours that have been allocated. So you have 32 hours in total. With a project, it's 28 hours plus four semester hours dedicated to the project or to the thesis. And then with the thesis, it's 8 semester hours. And so you take 24 hours of the coursework, which includes 8 hours of electives. So you have 16 fundamental hours. Originally, the program was all coursework. And it wasn't until we kind of discovered what the program should be all about, and all the courses became solid courses. And we found that some of the people who were in the program wanted to do some academic work which included research. One of the areas of research that the students became very much interested in, one of the ways in which they could do research, was by going out on co-op and doing a project while they were on co-op and then bringing that project back to the university. Well, when they brought it back to the university, they had to take it 4 semester hours of project work. So that's one way that you, beyond the all coursework, that you can get an opportunity to do some research or to do some application of the stuff that you learn in the courses. The second way that you can do it is by working with a professor. Working with a professor or working with somebody who is doing research in a particular area and to do a thesis. So the student works with the faculty advisor to develop an in-depth research project, usually a project which takes 8 semester hours. For the most part, if you're planning on doing a thesis with a professor, my suggestion would be is make sure that the 2 semesters that you're going to be doing that thesis work, that they're right together, that they're not separated by a summer, or they're not separated by a term of going out on co-op. Make sure that you get a full academic year of work, because it's going to take you that amount of time to do it. Now, one of the things that we found is that about 10 years ago that there was a great demand for both online and on-ground courses. Now, we gradually developed the on-ground program was already available, and we gradually have developed the online program. The online program is now at a point at which you can do the whole master's program. If you do coursework only, you can do the whole program online. The thing that I caution you on is that if you are an international student, and I'm no expert on this, I tell you to check with your international student advisors. There are some rules that are associated with taking online courses. It's my understanding that you cannot take all online courses if you're an international student. You must take a majority of on-ground courses. As I said, I don't know the rules, and so don't go by what Cullinane says, because he'll be giving you bad information with regard to the online. Make sure that you talk to the right people. So, the general requirements that we have: deterministic operations research, engineering project management, economic decision making, engineering probability and statistics. Decision making mathematics is the OR. The IE 6200 is the decision-making mathematics. The economic decision-making is just what the name says, and the engineering project management gives us those leadership skills, that understanding of how to bring that decision-making together and apply it. It's then up to you to take 16 hours of electives. Many students will take their undergraduate program and take 16 hours of electives which relate to the undergraduate program, giving you the full 32 hours. It's to your advantage to do that if you want to focus more, say you're a mechanical engineer, and you want to focus more on mechanical engineering. If you're an industrial engineer and you want to focus more on industrial engineering, you're interested in that. You want to change disciplines. Sometimes you're a mechanical engineer and you'd like to have a better background in information systems. So you take your 16 hours of electives in information systems. Some students say that they'd like to get a much broader base understanding of a particular area, and they'll take 16 hours that aren't even related. They'll take 4 hours in civil engineering, 4 hours in industrial engineering, but generally speaking, if you're going to do that, if you're going to take 16 hours of kind of broad-based courses for your electives, make sure there's a common thread that goes through that links them together, because otherwise your advisor, me, is probably not going to approve of it, because what's going to happen is when you go to get out of here, when you go to either go to graduate school beyond here, or you go to get a job, it's very difficult to explain to that future employer that you took all these broad-based courses and they don't link together, and so you don't have a real focus. So try and think in terms of getting a focus through your elective courses. So what are we offering now? IE 6200, Probability and Statistics, there are 4 sections. 2 sections are already full, 2 sections available to you. What are the requirements? Multivariate calculus. If you've been accepted into our program and you do not have any requirements placed on you, prerequisite requirements, then you've probably already had multivariate calculus. So you've had enough mathematics in order to be able to qualify. Deterministic operations research requires linear algebra. Again, the same thing. If we've accepted you into the program and we haven't told you you've got to take a course in linear algebra before you take operations research, then you're okay. That's not to say that some people come to me and say, you know, I took linear algebra back when I was a freshman. I've been working for 23 years. And when they say linear algebra, all I can remember about linear algebra is there's an X and then a little arrow thing, and basically I don't really understand any of it. Under those circumstances, what some people will do is they'll go to a community college, or they'll go to our continuing education program here, and they'll take a course in linear algebra. They'll audit it. Sometimes when you don't take one of those courses for credit, you can get it for a very inexpensive rate, especially if it's a state university or a state-run program. Approved electives. Here are
In the COE.
say approved COE electives. I think we have 28. I think it's 28. I haven't counted them recently, but there's a whole bunch here. And so the point we want to make by showing you these electives is there are many electives available to you. Be very careful that you don't get into an elective course or a course which you perceive to be an elective which isn't an approved elective. That's not to say that we don't allow you to take courses within COE that haven't been approved. It might be that they just haven't been approved as yet. Nobody's ever asked to take them before. I know I had a student who did a whole bunch of work, undergraduate in chemical engineering, had a bachelor's in chemical engineering, and came to me and wanted to take a chemical engineering graduate course. When I looked at it, it was an acceptable elective for the program of study that she had put together. And so she petitioned, and we'll talk about petition forms in a few minutes. She petitioned to have it accepted as a COE elective. And I approved of it, and the College of Engineering approved of it. So these are ones who you don't have to fill out a petition form. They've already been approved. outside of COE. This is a little tougher. These are ones who have already been approved, and again, you don't have to fill out a petition form. But there's lots of other elective courses out there that you may want to take that are not eligible for credit in the College of Engineering. A lot of times students will come and they'll say, you know, I just love art, and I'd like to take a graduate course in art. If there's no way to link that to the engineering program, if there's no way to link that to engineering decision making, remember what I said in the beginning? Our objective is to establish a program of study which gives you the skill set for engineering or technical decision making. If we can't link that course to technical decision making, then it's going to be very hard to get it approved. But we do have, and I haven't counted these, it looks like there's somewhere in around 25 or so, and I see Laura counting real quick over here. Like, for example, Executive Roundtable and Supply Chain Management, we have a number of courses in Supply Chain Management which have already been approved. What that means is that they've gone to the College of Engineering, a committee has evaluated them and said that they are acceptable for electives. So if you wanted to take your 16 hours of electives made up of 16 hours of courses from this list right here, you wouldn't have to fill out a petition form. You just meet with your advisor. It could be me, it could be somebody else. You meet with your advisor and you talk to your advisor about whether or not that's an acceptable thread. And when I say thread, it's just a common understanding of a focus area. An area that you can present and say, this is what I did as a minor, this is what I did, I focused on this area. You can find all of these in the course catalog by following this link. It gives you that information about the approved COE electives. I think it lists the COE electives. It lists all of the electives. And we're going to email you this link. You'll have this. That's all I have to say. I'll turn the microphone over to Laura. And Laura is a representative in the Dean's office of this program. So if you have any questions with regard to administration and such, Laura is the person to talk to. And she's going to talk a little bit about the Engineering Management Professional Society, and she's going to introduce John, who's in co-op.
Hello everyone. If you need to leave for class, that's fine. We'll email this out to you later. So I'll introduce myself now and then I'll talk a little bit more afterwards. My name is Laura. I work here at the graduate school. So Professors Cullinane and Professor Palike work in the academic department and I work on more of the administrative end. So we have the American Society for Engineering Management at Northeastern University here. It's a Northeastern chapter of the ASEM. We had invited representatives from ASEM to come speak today, but because we had to reschedule because of last week's blizzard, they weren't able to make it, but we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the ASEM here on campus. So the ASEM, it was established about a year and a half ago, so it's brand new. They provide opportunities here for professional and academic development. They organize a variety of events each semester. And their mission is to advance engineering management in theory and practice, and the development of engineering management students as professionals here. So their executive board is up here. So the executive board, I believe, for NUASEM is elected at the beginning of every academic semester. So these guys are about halfway through. The beginning of the academic year is in the fall. Akshay Kulkarni is the president. Aniket Ramakar is vice president. And they're a really great group of people here. They're really dedicated to engineering management and advancing their mission here on campus. They do have a number of, their events, sorry about that. So they do have some events they conducted last fall. They had a speaker come in from Leahy Healthcare. If you're new to the Boston area, Leahy Healthcare is a large healthcare provider network here. They had a co-op mixer, so they invited a lot of industries here to campus. If you're interested in taking a co-op, they had those there. They have faculty guest speakers, and upcoming for this semester, they're going to have more industry speaking events, networking events, industrial visits, which is a really cool opportunity for you all to get off campus and go and visit different sites, co-op information sessions, career counseling, case competitions, so they have a lot of competitions here. The NUAESM is very active on social media. So the first link, the OrgSync link, is how to join them here at Northeastern Network. So when we email this slideshow out to you, if you're interested in joining NUAESM, NUASEM, you can click that first link. You can also follow them on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. And you can also feel free to reach out to any of the executive board members too yourselves and introduce yourself. So with that little bit about the Northeastern ASEM chapter, I'm going to turn it over to Professor Himlona Palike, who is also an academic advisor for the Engineering Management Program, and she's going to speak to you about the graduate certificates that the COE offers.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to talk about, so as Laura mentioned, I'm also one of your academic advisors. So surely Dr. Cullinan is your program director and academic advisor, but
you might want to define where my advising begins and ends and where yours begins and ends so that...
Sure. So in regards to academic advising, if you have any questions related to what courses you want to take, you can talk to me or Dr. Cullinan.
Last names A through
and A through M, right? So we have divided the students according to the last names. So last names from A through M is Dr. Cullinan. You go to Dr. Cullinan if you have last names from A through M. If you have last names from N through Z, you come to me. However, we do not have a separate line. If we do not have a line, for example, if a student comes to me and you are with the last name A through M, we do not say, okay, go back. You can still talk to us, but that's where we have defined a line. And for example, if you want to take a course, Laura will talk about petition forms later on. So for petition forms, you can come to me or Dr. Cullinan depending on your last name. But if there are special questions that I cannot answer, you might have to go to Dr. Cullinan about it. Okay? My office is in Dana Research Center, the 5th floor of the Dana Research Center. Again, the building is adjacent to Snell Engineering. However, the 5th floor of Dana Research Center, everyone says, is a hidden floor. It's really difficult to get into the 5th floor. However, if you go there once, it's pretty easy. There is a big elevator in the Dana Research Center. You have to take the big elevator to reach the 5th floor. If you take the small elevator, you can only reach the 4th floor. Even the stairs, the doors are locked, you won't be able to get in. So you'll have to always take the big elevator to reach the 5th floor. All your co-op advisors are there as well, including my office is in Dana Research Center. Okay, guys?
This is the left-hand elevator bank. So you look at the two elevator banks, it's the one on the left-hand side.
In the Dana building. So today I'm here to talk about graduate certificates. So as engineering students, especially as engineering management graduate students, you can also pursue a graduate certificate in addition to your master's degree, which is a great opportunity for you guys as engineering management students, because you have 4 core courses, 4 required courses, as Dr. Cullinan mentioned earlier, and you can take 4 electives in addition to the 4 core courses. So for the 4 electives, you can pick and choose if you're interested in a particular certificate. Yes?
Actually, like the total credits for one course is like 4, I guess. So if I go for the business course, that is the 3 credit. So what if I take 3 from the engineering and the last one from the business one? So it will make total 13, I guess.
For
4 into 4 and 16, right? So if I take...
You still have to complete total 32 credits.
Like if I'm talking about, like if I take 3 from the 4 elective,
right,
credits.
that question is very specific. Let's wait until the end and get through the presentation about the graduate certificates first.
And then we can talk about it. I think we can discuss that later. So as engineering management students, I'm today here talking only about the graduate certificates that we offer from College of Engineering. Okay, we can talk about other certificates later on. As engineering management students, as mentioned earlier, you have 4 required courses that you have to complete, and in addition to the 4 required courses, you have to complete 4 electives to complete the MSEM degree, right? So for the 4 electives, if you want to pick and choose whichever certificate you're interested in, you can pick a particular certificate that is offered from Graduate School of Engineering, and for each certificate, in order to receive the certificate, you'll have to complete 4 courses, which are 4 credit hour courses. However, you have options. Some of these certificates have more than 4 courses, so you can pick and choose. Maybe if it has 6 courses, you can choose 4 courses. So you'll have to look at each different certificate to see what are the requirements, what is of interest to you. Some students prefer to go and get a certificate, some students do not prefer to do that. It's your choice. It's not a requirement, it's for your benefit only. So you can see here we have total of 14 different certificates listed. Yes?
Actually, engineering management and business leadership, there was another one which was Galante.
So the Galante engineering leadership I have not listed here because that particular certificate can only be taken by students who are doing a BS in Northeastern, or who are a BS MS student in particular. So not for only MS students. So if you're doing a BS MS, then the Galante certificate would have worked. Total, you can see here 14 different certificates. You can pick and choose from any of the certificates we have here. The 14 different certificates are actually divided into 4 different areas. The link for the certificate page is in the top left corner. You can see that. So if you click on the link, you'll be able to see all the different certificates we have. You'll see a brief overview of each different certificate, and if you click on each different certificate, it'll show you the program requirements for each different certificate. So what courses you have to take, if there are any requirements. Some certificates might have 1 or 2 courses as requirements, and you can pick and choose from, let's say, 4 or 6 courses. You have to take 2 courses. So each certificate is different. We have designed these certificates so that students can focus on one particular area. If you're interested to focus in one particular area, you want to focus your MSEM degree into one particular area. So I'll be talking about the certificates more in detail on Friday. So I'll be doing a certificate session on Friday. You'll be receiving an email when and where. We have not fixed because of the changes in the dates of orientation because of the blizzard. We have not gotten the room confirmed yet. So we'll be talking about more in detail about the certificates in general. Now you might be thinking, as I did mention a little bit, why should I complete a GAC certificate? You can focus your academic experience with synergetic courses. So the courses in each different certificate focus in one particular area. So if you want to focus into supply chain, let's say, you can look at the supply chain engineering management certificate. If you want to focus on data analytics or data mining, we have different certificates. Or Lean Six Sigma, we have another certificate related to Lean Six Sigma. So you can pick and choose what is your interest area. Build specific knowledge and skills aligned with industry needs. So if you want to focus into supply chain, you want to work in the supply chain area later on, if you have a supply chain certificate in addition to your MSEM degree, that helps you to market yourselves. So depending on your interest area, you can choose and pick. So that's why we have designed these certificates, which is helpful for the students. Now, complete coursework as part of your engineering management degree. So as I mentioned, we have to complete total of 32 credit hours, right? So 8 courses. Out of the 8 courses, 4 are your required courses and 4 are your electives. The good part is you do not have to take any extra courses as engineering management students to complete a certificate in addition to your master's degree. So if you complete the 8 courses, 4 required, and out of the 4 electives, if you choose the 4 electives as one of our certificates, then you are able to get a master's in engineering management degree with a certificate in whichever area you picked. So that's a good part. Nothing extra. You have to apply, but there is no application fee as well. Another thing, you'll also receive official recognition in our official transcript. In addition to your master's degree, you'll get official recognition about the certificate in the transcript, and as well as they also get a separate certificate that you have completed a certificate in supply chain or whatever certificate you have picked. Surely you can market yourself better. You have a master's in engineering management as well as a certificate in Lean Six Sigma or whatever you have picked. So you can market yourself better when you are looking into the job market. Or even when you're applying for co-op, you might not be able to get the certificate before completing your master's, but you can still say, okay, I've been working on this particular certificate as well, in addition to your master's degree. Thanks. Now, there are a few things that you have to know if you're planning for a graduate certificate. So, as I mentioned, the graduate certificates can be combined with your master's program, so you do not have to take any extra courses. The 8 courses that you have to take for a master's degree with that 8 courses, you can get a certificate and a master's degree as well. So the other part I said is the double counting of courses. The certificate coursework can be double counted in a sense. Out of the 8 courses that you have for your master's degree, the 4 courses, either electives or core, will be for your master's degree, and the 4 will be for the certificate. So you can double count up to 4 courses as engineering management students. Not all the students, the multidisciplinary students, yes, they can double count up to 4 courses, but not all the majors can double count up to 4 courses. But as engineering management students, these certificates are designed really well for engineering management students. You can double count 4 courses, which means you are getting, with the 8 courses, you are getting a master's degree, as well as you're counting the 4 courses from the master's degree towards the certificate as well. Is that clear? Another thing though, graduate certificate must be completed while you are working on your MSCM degree. So when you're working on your master's degree, you have to complete your courses for the certificate as well at the same time. So if, let's say, this is your last semester and you're finishing up your master's degree, we cannot extend a semester just for the certificate courses. If the courses also apply towards a master's degree, you are fine. In case of engineering management students, most of the cases there has not been any problem with it, because you can count 4 courses for the certificate as well as the master's degree. So no issues on that, should be able to do it. We do have online, hybrid and evening classes. I think few semesters in summer, even international students can take some online courses, but for fall and spring, again, you might not be able to take all online courses. You'll have to talk to your Laura, actually, student advisor. Another thing I want to mention, if you are interested in a particular certificate, you want to make sure it aligns with your master's degree as well. So you have to try to seek input or advice from your academic advisor or the certificate director. Each certificate has a certificate director, or you can talk to us, your academic advisors, to see if the certificate you are planning to seek works for your master's degree or not. Okay? Again, I'll repeat this. Certificate must be completed during or before the completion of your master's degree. So if you have completed all the certificate coursework before your last semester, good. Or even if you're completing the certificate coursework during the last semester of your MSCM program, you are fine. But we cannot extend a semester just for the certificate courses. Your OPT will be based on your master's program, which is a better option for engineering management students, because for OPT based on master's program is better than OPT based on just the certificate. A few things you have to know. If you really are interested in this certificate, please do your research on different certificates that we have. However, you do have to be in good academic standing in order to apply for certificates. For you guys, it's good because this is your first semester. That means you are in good standing. That's why you are here. If you decide to apply after a semester, then you have to maintain at least a GPA of 3.0 or above. Okay, so if you decide to apply this semester, you can go ahead and apply. Next semester, you surely have to maintain a GPA of 3.0 or above to apply for these certificate programs. The certificate website is listed here. You can apply from the website, web page. There is no application fee for current students. So again, it's for your own benefit. You can, if you're interested, you can apply for these certificates and get the certificate. But if you're not interested, that's fine. You can pick different courses that is of interest to you. It doesn't have to, it's not a requirement. Another thing I want to mention here, you have to apply before your last semester for the certificates. If you're applying in your last semester, even if you complete all the courses, you will not be awarded the certificate because the paperwork takes a long time and it might not be enough time. So we really recommend students to apply as soon as possible if you want to pursue a certificate. If you apply as soon as possible, that gives us enough time, and also to plan what courses we might need to offer, so that if we know that many students are interested in this particular certificate, we'll have to offer these courses. So that's easier for us to plan. If you apply, as I mentioned, you'll have to apply before your last semester. So at the latest you can apply is in your 3rd semester. 4th semester, not possible. Even if you complete the courses, you're not going to get the certificates. Okay, make sure you understand that. There are frequently asked questions in the Husky Help Desk website. You can go through that as well if you have any other questions later on. And now I hand the microphone to Professor John Blakeney. We'll talk about, if you have any questions, we'll talk about this at the end of the session. And Professor John Blakeney will be talking about co-op here.
Thank you. So my name is John Blakeney, and I'm one of the co-op advisors, and I'm in the Dana Research Center, 5th floor, like we were talking about. I'm part of the engineering management program, and we have Professor Cardillo and Professor Yazger as well are also co-op advisors. So you'll be assigned a co-op advisor, but any of us can be able to help you out. Most people are here because, or going to Northeastern because they heard of the co-op program, which allows you to take your knowledge from your classes, apply it to the real world at an U.S. organization or company, it could be international as well, and then take that information and come back to campus again to finish out the degree. And the idea is to help you become much more marketable when you go out in the workforce for your full-time job in your career. Okay? To go on co-op, there are three criteria. First, you need to have completed 16 credit hours, which is 4 classes over 2 semesters. Second, you need to be in good academic standing. That means you need at least a 3.0 GPA to be able to go on to co-op. All right. Third is the completion of a career management class, the EMGT 6000. That's a 1 credit course, which is separate than the 16 credit hours. And in that class, what you learn are a few things. You learn about resumes, cover letters, interviewing skills and techniques, how to apply for a co-op, workplace behavior. We talk about CPT and how you have to apply for that for the international students. And that's what we do here. As you notice, when I came in today, what did I do for most of you? I shook your hand, right? I introduced myself. Some of you did a fish shake. I said, squeeze hard, firmer shake. We go over that over and over and over because you're all smart individuals. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And when you're applying for jobs, do you think they're getting other smart people for those jobs as well? Yes. So the question is, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself a better person or a better candidate for that company? What you want to do is when you leave that job interview, you want them to say, I want to hire that person yesterday. And we're going to give you the skills and techniques, whether it be resume, cover letter, your elevator pitch. We're going to give you those skills so you can put your best foot forward. That's what I promise you. We do not guarantee a co-op. We do not guarantee a co-op. But I will guarantee you is this, that after you have a class with me or if I advise with me, you will be able to put your best foot forward, that you would give it all. So when you go on that co-op, that interview, you've done everything you can. We talk about experiential learning. where every interaction or every time you go over a job or go for a class, you're going to learn something. You take that knowledge and you apply it to the next day. So you're going to take that knowledge from your classes. You're going to take your knowledge from your bachelor's degree. You're going to apply it to your process here, the master's degree. You're going to take those classes from the master's degree and you're going to apply it to your co-op. When you take that co-op, you're going to apply it back again to you get your job, to your next class. Because the other thing about co-op is this. You can't graduate with a co-op. I mean, you can't take a co-op and then graduate. You have to come back on campus to take at least one more class. You can use that knowledge from your co-op for that last class. And then you go out in the real world and we call you back later on and say, hey, how was your experience here at Northeastern? Can you open up your doors for any other co-ops for Northeastern students? Because you'll be in that position. All right? Now some of you, I'm not sure why, but some of you may be in the EM program and say, you know what, the EM program is not for me. I want to go into industrial engineering. Be careful when you do that. Because the industrial engineering group or other programs in the university have their own rules and regulations. So when you transfer out from one program to another, you've got to make sure that you know the rules and regulations for those co-ops procedures. So for example, we require, what's our GPA for co-op here at Engineering Management, EM? 3.0. Others are 3.2. So we've had students go from EM to another class, to another program, and not be eligible for co-op because they have a 3.1 GPA. So guess what? They don't qualify for co-op. So be very, very careful. This program here, oh, it's amazing, this EM program, because as Professor Colonnade was saying, it gives you the skills and techniques. It's like an MBA for engineers. You take your bachelor's degree, you use that for your master's degree. It's going to help you get that co-op. It's going to help you get that job. You're going to be a better, well-rounded person. And we'll help you. We'll help you give you those skills and techniques. I guarantee you that. And when you go for the interview, you'll put your best foot forward. And for those that don't get a co-op, what's the worst thing that happens? You leave Northeastern University with a great degree. And I'll guarantee you this will help you with the career search as well. Okay? I think that's, did I hit everything? I think I did. Thank you.
All right, we're about an hour in. Does anybody need a stretch? We good? We'll keep going? Yes? Yeah. Okay.
You want to tell them a joke?
I don't know, your joke didn't go over so well. So my name is Laura Adrian, and as I've explained, I work at the Dean's office. I'm in the graduate school. So Professors Colonnade and Palike are in your academic departments. Professor John Bleakney is your co-op advisor. I am your student services advisor. I do a lot of the administrative things. I keep the wheels moving, so to speak, on some things. So student services, we're located just down the hall in 130 Snell Engineering. And the four main areas that I am responsible for are academics, so technical issues with course registration, graduation requirements. So when in 4 semesters time, it's time for you all to graduate, I will be the one checking your transcript and meeting with the registrar, the woman registrar, and saying, yes, he is clear to graduate, no, she is not clear to graduate. And academic probation. So academic probation is when your GPA falls below 3.0, and I'll talk about that in depth in a little bit. I work with the funded students. Engineering management don't really have any SGAs, which are the RAs and TAs. Fulbright scholars, I don't think we have any in this incoming class in engineering management, and fellowships. I communicate with you all through newsletters, through timely reminders, and about various events and opportunities on campus. Now, even though I will be sending you reminders about important deadlines like course add deadlines, course drop deadlines, graduation deadlines, you are all adults and you all need to be proactive and program these deadlines into your own calendars. Put it in a notebook, put it in your phones, set up reminders. And international students. So through your course here, through your academic career here, many of you will need a form signed by something called a SAVIS contact. I am your SAVIS contact. It's not Professors Colonnade or Palike, it's not Professor John Bleakney. I would be your SAVIS contact. And that's that. So, as a reminder, if you are on an F1 visa or a J1 visa, OGS will handle your visa. They are the experts here on campus. If you're on an H2 visa or an H1B visa, they can't really help you. They might be able to refer you, but OGS is really only for F1 and J1 visa holders. They provide you with information on student immigration status, employment, co-op information, tax information, OPT. Now, international and domestic students alike, get involved with OGS. It's a good way to network across campus. It's a good way to meet with other students in your program, students in other programs, students with different backgrounds. OGS has a lot of really fun events all semester long, all academic year long. They have barbecues. They have, I think they did a puppy party last year where they had a bunch of puppies on campus. They're really fun. And again, when in doubt about anything with your visa status, check with OGS first. It is far easier for us to advise you, for OGS to advise you before something becomes a problem than on the other end when it's a big, huge problem and you lose your visa status or you lose your eligibility for CPT, which is co-op, or OPT, which is your work at the end of your degree. So I'm going to talk to you today in 3 general categories: resources available to you, your responsibilities as graduate students, and assistance that my office can provide. So resources here on campus. My Northeastern, it's a wonderfully redesigned portal. They redesigned it over last semester, so I have no idea where anything is anymore. So I'm learning along with you guys, but it's a great resource for you. You can access your email, billing information, you can register for courses through it, Blackboard, your Husky card, and a lot more. It's a lot, even though it's different now, it's a lot easier to navigate. They have a search bar right there. They have a lot of links, frequently used links. And as you log in on the right-hand sidebar, it'll start to add the links that you go to frequently. So it's pretty cool. If you haven't explored it already, take some time and check it out. The other link is the Registrar's Office. So the Registrar's webpage too has also been redesigned. The 2 most important things, yes?
I am here, registration is still done through the My Northeastern?
I am here should still be done through My Northeastern as far as I know, yes.
Okay, because it used to like pop up and block you from doing anything else, but I haven't found that.
There might be a glitch where the pop-up's gone, but I've seen I am here floating around somewhere, and I think it's on the My Northeastern portal. But the Registrar's webpage is another resource for you all. So when we email these slide decks out to you, please either save the slide deck or click onto these links and bookmark them, or at least explore them so you know what they look like. The Registrar's webpage, the 2 most important links up at the top where those 2 big orange arrows are, the calendar and the catalog. So I have separate slides for each of them. The catalog. As spring 2018 students, you fall in the 2017-2018 academic year. So your curriculum, your program of study is under the 2017-2018 catalog. So again, when it's time for you to graduate, this is what I compare you to. If you have questions about which electives are on your list, this is what you should access. It also contains the Graduate School of Engineering Academic Policies and Procedures, Code of Student Conduct, and the Student's Bill of Academic Rights and Responsibilities. Now these 3 items are very, very, very important for you all to read through and understand. The admissions team should be sending you an email. If they haven't already, they should be sending you an email where you need to read through the academic policies and sign off. Now it's very important for you to actually read through them. If you have questions about those academic policies, come to me. I can help you understand them. Too many times I've seen students scroll through and just sign off, and they don't understand what those policies mean or what rights they might have had, or they don't understand why they've gotten in trouble when if they had just read through the policies, they would know. So it's very important for you all to read it. If you have questions about it, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. The university calendar. So this was the other link on the top of the Registrar's webpage. They have this great PDF. You can download it, you can print it out, you can put it into your own calendars. Some important dates this week and next. Yesterday was the first day of classes. January 15th, which is this Monday, is Martin Luther King Day here. We have no classes. The university will be closed. Enjoy your day off. January 22nd is the last day for you all to add a class online. And January 29th is the last day for you all to drop a class without a W, which is a withdrawn on your transcript, and with a full refund. If you drop the class on January 30th, that course will remain on your transcript with a W next to it, which signifies that you've been withdrawn from the class. It won't affect your GPA, but you will still owe a certain percentage of the tuition. And the longer you wait to drop the class, the more percent of the tuition you'll owe until you ultimately will owe the full tuition. All right. Oh, can you go back one? The other thing that I want to mention for any international students here, you must be registered for at least 8 semester hours of coursework to maintain your visa status. So if you're thinking about dropping a course, you have to contact either me or OGS first. There's a specific form that you'll need to fill out. Again, I will send out an email reminder, but keep that in your mind. Full-time students on an F1 or a J1 visa have to be registered for 8 semester hours. So if you're thinking about dropping a class, whether it's before the 29th or before the drop deadline at the end of the semester, that's something that you need to keep in mind for you all. All right, so graduate student services. If you can click one more time, that's me in the middle. I'm not in the middle because I'm the most important. I'm just in the middle because I'm the shortest on my team. But that's my team there. Each of us works with different programs here on campus. I work with you all, engineering management students, and with energy systems students. So we have a web page. It's a little bit difficult to navigate to. So again, when you get this slide deck, please look through this web page, bookmark this website. The most important link on this website that you all will be using is the forms link that's circled there. So if you click through to the forms link, this is the page where we have all of our forms in PDF downloadable forms. You can download the PDF, fill it in digitally, print it out and hand it in to me in the office. You can download it, fill it out with pen, as long as your handwriting is legible. 2 clicks. So the 2 most popular forms are the petition form and the registration override request form. So first I'll talk about the petition form, what that's used for, and then a little later I'll talk about the override request form. Yes. So this is the petition form. It's just a PDF document. Again, you can download it, fill it out digitally, print it out. So the petition form has a couple of different uses. Let's say that you would like to take an elective from chemical engineering that's not listed as an approved elective. You'd print this form out, you'd fill it out, you'd check off that you want to take an elective, you're going to tell me what course you want to take, what you're petitioning, what you're trying to do. You'd hand it into my office. I collect all these forms, and once or twice a week I meet with either Professor Cullinane and Professor Palike, and we review them all together. The other thing this form is used for most popularly is, as engineering management students, you all are limited to 9 semester hours total a semester. Again, different programs have different semester hour limits. Most programs are limited to 9, some can take 13. So if you all are interested in a future semester, maybe next semester in your second semester, to take an additional course, you need to fill this out. You need to meet with your own academic advisor and show them what 3 courses you want to take in what combination, and explain to them why you think taking a 3rd course would be beneficial to you. Again, our semester hour limit is 9 because we've found that many students will overload their coursework and get themselves into hot water when they end up in academic probation because they've taken too many courses or they've taken a really difficult combination of courses. So we limit you to 9 for your own benefit, to make you sure you're successful, and we look at everything on a case-by-case, on a one-to-one basis if you're trying to take more than 9 semester hours. Your responsibilities as students. So you're all adults, right? Maybe, somewhat, in some ways. So as graduate students, the onus is on you most of the time. So for your academic requirements, again, you need to complete your degree by meeting all of the requirements specified in the 2017-2018 graduate catalog. Please bookmark that page. You must attain a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher to remain in good academic standing. You need to have a grade of C or better in all required core courses, so your Prob Stats course, operations research, project management, decision making, C or better. And to qualify to graduate, you cannot have more than 8 semester hours below a B-. So that means even if you have a 3.0 GPA because you've gotten 4 A's and 4 C's, 4 C's is 16 semester hours below a B-, you can't graduate. Every year I have 1 or 2 students who run into this requirement because they forget. So in order to graduate, not only do you need at least a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better, but you can't have more than 8 semester hours total below a B-. The academic probation policy. So I hope I never see any of you on academic probation policy, on academic probation. It's not a fun place to be, but it's not the worst place to be either. So I'm going to go over what academic probation is. So as we've mentioned, to remain in good standing, you need a 3.0, a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. So let's say for this spring, you take your 2 courses, and at the end of spring, you have a GPA of 2.5. So what's going to happen is at the end of spring, that spring semester is going to be considered your first term in academic probation. You're considered in academic probation 1. What that means is that I would contact you, you and I would meet, we'd discuss what went wrong this spring semester, what difficulties you had, what classes you're going to take in the following semester, and what things you'll do differently. We sign some paperwork. Perfect. You take your classes in fall. At the end of fall term, you have your cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better. Great, you're out of academic probation. Let's say at the end of fall, though, you're still below a 3.0. So spring was your first semester in academic probation. Fall would be your second semester in academic probation. At the end of your second semester in academic probation, you're considered academic probation 2 students. At that point, you're automatically dismissed from the engineering management program. You would need to appeal that dismissal. So I would contact you, we would fill out an appeal form, again, explain what went wrong, what you plan to do to fix it if you're given the chance at a 3rd term. Sometimes those dismissals are upheld, and you can't be a student in the engineering management program anymore. If that dismissal is overturned, if we allow you to come back for a 3rd semester, so that would be in spring 2019, you come back at the end of spring 2019, your GPA is above 3.0, awesome, you're out of academic probation. Let's say worst case scenario, at the end of spring 2019, at the end of your 3rd semester here, your GPA is below 3.0. We would consider you a 3rd term academic probation student. At that point, you are dismissed from Northeastern University. You are no longer a Northeastern student. There is an appeals process for that. However, that appeals committee includes professors, different program directors, and various deans here at the College of Engineering. That appeals process is extremely difficult, and most of the time they uphold those dismissals, and 3rd term students do not come back for a 4th term. All right? Every year, let's see, this past year I think I had about, last semester, out of 3,700 graduate students in total here at the COE, we had about 100 students in academic probation 1 and 2, and about 7 who are 3rd term dismissal students. So it does happen. All right? So again, I hope I never see any of you on any of these. If it does happen, we'll work together. But the important thing to take away from this is that if you're encountering difficulties in your classes, it's extremely important for you all to reach out to your professors, to reach out to your advisors, and to reach out to me. I can't guarantee that we can get you out of your sticky situation, but if you're proactive, if you take action before this becomes a huge issue at the end of the semester, it's much easier for us to navigate those problems with you and advise you as best as we can. All right, so I want to encourage you all, if you're having problems, reach out to professors, advisors, including your academic advisor and myself. All right? Okay. Again, if you haven't already done so, read through this and sign off on it when the admissions team sends you this email. So assistance, this is what my office can do for you. Course registration. So who here is not registered for the 2 courses, the OR 6205 Operations Research and IE 6200 Prop Stats?
I picked something else instead of IE.
Why?
Because I didn't want to do 2 core courses.
Nope, you need to register for the 2 core courses in your first semester. Okay, so different for part-time students. Part-time students should be registered for either Prop Stats or OR. But in your first semester here, everybody should take, if you're part-time, 1 core course, or if you're full-time, those 2 core courses. No exceptions. If you have difficulties registering for them, come to see me, and we'll figure out what the difficulties are. I know many of you are interested in co-op and interested in taking electives, but you're not eligible for co-op until you've completed 16 semester hours. So you can take those electives in your 2nd semester. Yes, sir, you had a question. Economic decision making and or come see me either this afternoon or tomorrow morning and we'll double check on that, okay? All right, but if you have problems registering, you would come to see me and I would take a look at what the issue is. So if you can go back one. So in the future, none of you should have this issue right now with your prob stats course and your OR course, but in the future, if you try and register for something, sometimes you'll see an error code. You'll see that little red exclamation point, registration add error. In this case, this particular Chem-E class is a program restriction. So if you ever encounter one of these things, what you're going to use is the registration override request form. So a lot of times there are certain classes or certain sections that different restrictions will be placed on them. Sometimes departments want to keep information systems students together and don't want engineering management students in them. Sometimes those classes might be reserved for undergraduate students, even though it's a graduate level class. So if you ever see a registration error like that and you're not sure what's going on, you can email me and I might be able to get back to you. Or the faster way is to fill out one of these registration override request forms. You fill the top part, you fill out that bottom part there, depending on what the restriction is, or if it's not there, you write it in, and hand it into my office, and I take a look at what's going on and try and figure out, can I get you into this class? If I can't get you into this class, why, and what other options do you have? All right. The other thing that I want to mention is about online classes. So here at Northeastern in the COE, we have two types of online classes. The first type is your regular online class. It's an online instructional method, online instructional activities. It's available to both full-time and part-time students. Now for anybody here on an F1 or a J1 visa, you are only eligible to take an online class if you are already registered for 4 on-campus credits. All right, it can't be 3 on-campus credits, it can't be 1 on-campus credit. It needs to be 4 on-campus credit hours. Then you're eligible to take an online course. That goes for the fall and spring semesters. Summer's a little bit different. Summer you can take online classes if you'd like. Now these regulations are per the federal government. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The other type of online class we offer are called V35 or video streaming courses. So V35 courses are recordings of an on-ground live course. So the recording that we're doing right now of this orientation is very similar to how these courses operate. A lecture is recorded, it's posted online, and is made available to students in V35 sections. Now I get this question all the time from students who are trying to register for a V35 section. V35s are only available to part-time students or if you go on co-op. If you're a full-time student, if you're on-campus student, you are not eligible to take a V35 course. So if you ever search for a course and you see it's online, next to the course name, you'll usually see a parentheses with Boston. That's an on-ground course. Parentheses with online. That's our virtual course that everybody's eligible to take. Or you'll see V35. Again, if you're full-time on campus, not on co-op, you cannot take a V35 class. Courses outside the COE. So again, whoops. That's the energy systems curriculum, but this still applies to engineering management students. So again, we saw a slide about different electives from the COE and different electives outside the COE, right? Some of you are going to be interested in taking a course from DeMoore McCam School of Business. Some of you are going to be interested in taking a course from the College of Computer and Information Science. I want to stress that although those courses may be listed in our approved electives for engineering management, since those courses are offered by other colleges here on campus, those other colleges may put their own restrictions on those courses. I, as an employee of the COE, cannot override restrictions from other colleges. You will have to contact the people from either DeMoore McCam or CCIS. There's a web page where I explain all the different contact information depending on who's offering which course. So again, if you want to take something about data visualization, which is a very popular course that our students want to take through CCIS, if it's an elective that we approve, it's fine with us if CCIS will allow you to register. So you have to take the extra step and contact them with registration issues. Next slide. Okay, so for student services assistants, for any of my technical assistants that I can provide, again, my office is in 130 Snell Engineering, right up the hall from us. We usually have candy. It's fun to stop by. Say, hi, I have 700 students, so I may not know your name, but I'll probably recognize your face. This week, we have extended walk-in hours, so from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. or from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. If you walk in, you'll sign in on an iPad. I'll come out, and we can chat about whatever your questions are. So for the 2 students who have registration questions, either stop by this afternoon or tomorrow morning, depending on what time we get out. regularly during the semester. I have walk-in hours Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Again, just come by. You need your NUID. Your NUID is not on your Husky card, by the way. So memorize it, write it down somewhere, save it on your cell phone. If you have a course question, bring the course information in the CRN, the 5-digit section number. Next slide. For anything else, if you have random questions, I usually answer emails pretty quickly. My email address is up there. Again, my walk-in hours up there. We can also book individual appointments. If you're not on campus and you can't come to see me, or if you have a big, long issue that's going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes, we can book an individual half-an-hour appointment. The only requirement that I have is that you give me at least 24 hours notice. Again, I work with about 700 students as well as faculty and staff members. So if you could give me the courtesy of at least 24 hours notice. The other thing is my office is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. I will not respond to work emails outside of those hours. So if you have an urgent issue on a Friday night, I'm not going to see it until Monday morning. All right? But if you put urgent, I'll look at it. It'll be the first thing I look at on Monday morning. Just an FYI for everyone here. And my last thing is the fun thing here. Northeastern is a huge campus. We have, I think, 20,000 students here on campus. There are so many different ways to get involved. You can certainly join the Energy Systems Society. They love different students in their society, but that should be the ASEM Society up there. The Energy Systems Society actually runs a really cool conference every fall semester. They'll be sending out information about that. There's the Graduate Women in Science and Engineering. I got a question a couple days ago asking if men can join that. I still don't have the answer to that, but it'd be worth checking out. They have some cool research and networking events. I'm sure you all will be taking classes with women, working with women. It's a good networking opportunity. Career development. So we have our co-op office. You have your co-op advisor, but we also have a career development office here on campus. And that office is open to all Northeastern students, bachelor students, master's students, PhD students, alumni, staff, faculty members. They run a lot of different workshops, a lot of different events. They're an awesome resource to have. We have a writing center here on campus. It has 2 locations. So anything from resumes, cover letters, case studies, essays, emails, whatever you have that you want to get looked at, the Writing Center is happy to look at it. They're available to you at no additional fee. Again, you don't have to bring them a full, completed document. If you just want to brainstorm with them, if you just want to chat with them about I'm not sure how to approach this project, being proactive and seeking them out before an assignment is due is going to be very beneficial to you. On-campus jobs, I know some of you will be interested in getting on-campus jobs. There's a student employment portal here. Again, any students here on an F1 or a J1 visa, make sure you touch base with OGS before you take any action, before you take any decisions, because anything by taking a job could affect your visa status in some way. So check in with OGS. And we're here in Boston. How many of you are local? You're local. We have 1 local. So Boston has about 100 or so different colleges and universities in the Boston metro area. I'm a Boston local. I grew up here. I went to school here. I stayed here. There's always something to do. So we have a Boston calendar that the city of Boston and various entities contribute to. Get out, explore the city. Think of them as networking opportunities to just meet other people in the city of Boston and see what's going on. And last thing, if you haven't already, international students, check in with OGS. Make sure you've attended their orientation. Make sure you attend classes. If for any reason in the semester you're going to miss a class, you're not sure if you're going to be late, you'll miss an assignment, be proactive, reach out to the professor. Professors are under no obligations to make any exceptions for you, but generally if you're proactive, if you're respectful, if you show that you're trying and you're responsible, professors will help you out. And connect with the COE online. We have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Again, think of it as a way to get to know different students here on campus. It's a huge university. So I'm going to open it up now to questions for anybody who's spoken. The only thing that I ask is that when you ask a question, we're going to repeat it into the mic. So for those who aren't here, we'll be able to hear it. We can get the mic off. Yes.
Any sort of national restrictions for
Citizens? Thesis. If you're interested in a thesis, there are no prerequisite courses that you need to take. There are no There's a restriction in that you can't just sign yourself up for a thesis. You need to meet with your academic advisor and meet with the professor and start to do the paperwork. So if thesis is something that you're interested in and thinking about now, reach out to your academic advisor and talk to them about your interests. If you already have a professor in mind, you can also reach out to that. Do you have anything to add?
Make certain that you've spoken with the professor before you sign up for a thesis. It may be that they'll want you to sign, maybe that they won't even want you to sign up on one semester and then sign up on the following semester. There's many different ways of doing it.
I'm going to ask the question again.
Sure.
What if we take 3 courses from 4 credit, and what we are supposed to do? If the other course, the 4th one is of 3 credits, so I'm supposed to take the total 4, or I'm supposed to extend to the 6 credits?
I have that.
About
So if you take
Like
3 4-hour credits for your electives and 1 3-hour credit from DeMoore McKim. So at the end you have 15 credits, but you need that 1 extra one. So there are 3 options that our students generally take. One is to take a 1 semester hour course from business school. Now if you look at our approved electives, there are no approved electives for 1-hour courses. So if that's what you're interested in, you would need to speak with your academic advisor, bring to them the course that you're thinking of taking. Some courses offered by the business school, I think one last semester was about Bitcoins. Interesting, but not really relevant to engineering management. The second option are sometimes students will take a 1-credit independent study with a professor. I don't see those as many because the professor needs to agree to supervise you. You need to have a project in mind of whatever it is that you're going to study. The third option that students can take is they decide to take an additional 3-credit course. So they end up graduating with 18 credits of elective hours. That's fine with us. You've more than fulfilled the 32 hours. So you have a little bit of flexibility there. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes?
It says online that part-time students are required to take 1 course per year. Is that academic year or calendar year?
Academic year. So part-time students, in order to remain an active student, you need to be registered for at least 1 course in either the fall or spring. So if you take a course this spring and decide to take a course next fall, you don't have to take a course in spring 19. But if you take a course this spring, don't take anything in fall, you have to take a course in the spring, or else your status will go inactive and you lose your you lose access to all of the Northeastern things.
How does the summer semester fit in that?
The summer semester is your prerogative. If you want to take classes, you certainly can. That goes for all full-time and international students too. Here at Northeastern, we have 3 types of summer semesters. Summer 1 is May and June. Summer 2 is July and August. Those 2 semesters are accelerated, so you cover the same amount of material in the half as much time, and then we have the full summer semester. So if you're interested in taking a class in the summer, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. It doesn't count towards the academic year.
For registering the COP course, do we have to have one academic year and 16 hours course?
Registering for the co-op course? No, you can register for the co-op course right now if there's space available. To be eligible to go on co-op, to be eligible to go work on co-op, you need to have taken that 1 credit hour and passed. You need to be in good academic standing, and you need to have completed 16 semester hours. Anything to add?
Yeah, a couple things. So if you were to take 2 classes this semester, and then take another 2 classes over the summer, and you meet all the other requirements, you can actually go on co-op starting in the fall if you take 2 classes of the summer. And our co-op lengths are either 4 months, 6 months, or 8 months in lengths. So you have a lot of flexibility. But if you start in the fall, it has to end in December. It can't cross calendar years. So if you're looking for an 8-month co-op, you start in January, go through August, or start in May and go through to December. You can't cross calendar years for the co-op. And then finally, regarding what I meant to say earlier is, as your co-op advisor, we teach a class, but we're also available to meet you outside classes. I have 4 hours of office hours to meet with all of you regarding your resume, interviewing skills, whatever you want to help you with your co-op. So not only do you get to take that class, we're also available outside of class to help you with your needs. And we also have other things such as workshops like on different skills that you need. So if you need help with resume writing, we'll have a certain workshop to help you with that in addition to the other class. So we're here to help you out with a co-op search.
But I read it somewhere that you have to wait for the next 9 months. The moment you enter US, you have to wait for the 9 months in order to go for any kind of internship or working, I guess.
So the question is, the student has heard that somewhere you have to wait 9 months for it to take an internship or a co-op. That's not something we're aware of. That would be a question that you can take to OGS, the Office of Global Services, to clarify. But as far as we're aware here in the academic department, if you complete 8 semester hours this spring and then complete another 8 in the summer, you can be eligible to go on co-op as soon as fall. But again, it's not something we're aware of, but it'd be good if you go to OGS and clarified that.
I read it somewhere on the federal website, so
yeah, so the federal website does post guidelines and regulations, and the OGS office here on campus is the entity that in turn takes those regulations and interprets them for us for the students here at Northeastern. So it's good to check the federal website, but it's also good to check with OGS too, because their job is to interpret those federal regulations for our F1J1 students, so they know how it's applied to students.
So are we allowed to do the 1-hour course this semester?
The question is, can you take the 1-hour course? Yes. If there's seats available, yes. If there's no seats available, you can take it in fall. It's offered every spring and every fall.
We want to take the thesis. I know the course hour is different from the course only. For the program certificates, I think we need to take some actual courses to certify the certificates requirements.
So the question is about thesis and graduate certificate. So would you be interested in potentially doing a thesis and earning a graduate certificate combined?
Yeah, I wish to.
Okay, that may, depending on which certificate you're interested in, it may be possible. Again, if you are interested in the thesis option, you're going to take your 16 semester hours of core courses, then you're going to take 8 additional hours of elective coursework, and then 8 semester hours of thesis coursework. So within those 16 plus 8, the 16 core and the 16 electives, it may be possible to combine that with a graduate certificate. But that's something you're going to need to look at the different graduate certificate program curriculums, which is on the curriculum website, and then refer back to the Masters of Engineering Management program curriculum, see which ones overlap, and then once you have a good idea of maybe which certificate you're interested in pursuing, that's when you can speak with Professor Palike or whichever graduate certificate advisor. But again, as graduate students, the responsibility is on you to do a lot of the work of looking at the graduate certificate and figuring out what one you are interested in, and then coming to us with specific questions. Make sense? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Is it possible to apply for 2 graduate certificates?
Is it possible to apply for 2 graduate certificates? In very, very, very rare circumstances, because the rule is that a course can only double count. So it can count once towards a graduate certificate, once towards the master's. So if you are looking at graduate certificates and you're seeing that one course applies to all 3, that's triple counting, so we don't allow that.
No, I'm talking about double counting basically. For example, business leadership had 2 courses, and if they double count, and so does it double count for supply chain as well. There were 3 courses there.
So, sorry. Yep.
So for certificates, the double counting of courses, you can only double count up to total of 4 courses.
Right.
So total of 4 courses, you have 4 electives for the master's program, which will double count. It can be a required course as well, but the maximum number of courses that can double count is 4. So that's why you will be able to only do 1 certificate with a master's.
Unless I do an extra.
Unless you take 4 extra courses, then only you'll be able to get another cert. Yes, 4 4-credit courses extra, total 16 semester hours for a certificate, for another certificate again. So normally a master's and a certificate. Doesn't make sense, think about it. In 2 years you have 2 certificates and a master's degree. What is the value then of the certificates, right? So normally it's only 1, unless you want to take extra courses, 4 extra courses. Yes? You can change. So if you find a professor and want to work with the professor on a project or thesis, you can decide later after the first semester. That's fine. It's is not fixed right now, right?
No, it's not fixed. And I also want to add to that, we also have had the rare case where a student has decided to do the thesis and then has decided to move back to coursework. So there's a little bit of flexibility if you want to pursue the thesis and then you decide after you complete the 4 hours of thesis, this isn't for me. You would end up paying a little bit more because those thesis hours can't count towards your electives. You'd need to take a different 4-credit course in its place. But yes, if today, right now, you're thinking coursework, maybe next week you decide I'm interested in a project, or after you come back from co-op you want to do a project, you can change.
Once you sign up for a thesis, you must complete the thesis. Those 4 hours can't count towards your graduate degree. The completion of the thesis is sort of like the approval of those 4 hours of thesis credit. And when the professor signs off on the thesis, that's when you get the credit for those 4 hours.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
So you recommend taking core courses in the first 2 semesters?
Yes, that's what you all should be taking, 2 core courses in your first semester unless you're part-time.
How about the next semester?
You can take a core course and elective, you can take 2 core courses, you can take 2 electives, but in this semester you should be taking prop stats and OR unless there is extenuating circumstances, and if there are, you come see me.
One of the things you're going to find out is that many of the elective courses have the core courses as prerequisites.
Assume that you know. Or they assume that you already have taken the core courses.
As an undergraduate, you've taken. One thing that's going to happen is if you come to me for advice, you're going to come in and I'm going to say, may I help you first of all? Secondly, I'm going to ask you, have you completed your core courses? Because the answer to that question is going to be determine the answer to your next questions with regard to your electives, because many of those electives, again, are going to have core courses as a prerequisite.
So I'm also on the engineering leadership course, and they notify me that starting from coming fall, the next 2 semesters are completely.
I'll take it. So you're a Gordon Engineering Leadership student, right?
Yes.
So you're different. So with Gordon students, there are always exceptions. With Gordon students, you take your Gordon leadership classes in your first 2 semesters, and then in your first semester without your Gordon classes, so next fall or next summer if you decide to be super proactive, you would take your core courses for engineering management. So only in the case of Gordon students should Gordon students be taking their own classes and not the engineering management core classes. Okay? All right. Yes, you first.
You said about the prerequisites, but have you covered for EMGT project management and the introduction to data management and processing for this set?
Right, so in the system, there are sometimes hardwired prerequisites coded in. Sometimes there aren't, but all courses assume that you've taken those core courses first. So if you're not in the core courses, you need to change your registration and come see me. If you have problems getting into prob stats or OR, come see me and we'll determine what you can do. But you should not be in electives your first semester. Yes, sir.
You should visit your advisors to show them a transcript, to check out the grad courses, or like...
Should you visit the advisors to check undergraduate courses?
Yeah, graduate courses.
What purpose would this serve?
Do we need to check that our undergraduate courses meet the graduate requirement?
So if you've been admitted to this program, the advisors have looked at your undergraduate coursework and determined that you'd be successful in the you have the potential to be successful in the engineering management program provided you follow the recommendations, which would be to take prob stats and OR this first semester. If you're asking about waiving one of those core courses, that's a completely different question, and that's something you should either email me about or come see me about. On the very, very, and I want to stress, very rare circumstances that we will waive a core course that requires a whole different set of paperwork and proof of what you've earned and proof of what you've covered in your undergraduate coursework. And again, it's very rare that we will accept undergraduate coursework in order to waive a graduate level coursework, because usually undergraduate courses may cover similar topics, but they won't cover it as in-depth as a graduate level course will go. So if you're interested in waiving it, either email me or see me, but if you're just interested in knowing how successful you think you might be. If you've been accepted into the program, we reasonably think that you'll be a good student. Yes?
If you took Northeastern graduate level electives as an undergrad, can you apply those towards your engineering management degree?
Only if, so the question is if you've taken Northeastern graduate level electives as an undergraduate, those can only be applied towards a graduate level degree if they haven't been applied to your bachelor's degree. So if you took a graduate level elective and it counted towards whatever elective for your bachelor's, it's already been quote unquote leveled towards your bachelor's degree, and I can't retroactively go back and pull that out.
You
Can't double count.
waive it, though.
Could potentially waive it, depending on what grade you earned. But if you just took, occasionally I get some undergrads who took the course just as extra. They have 4 extra credits hanging out there on their transcript. We can certainly move that to your graduate level transcript with the permission of your undergraduate advisor. So if you're not sure if it counted or not, reach out to whoever your undergraduate advisor was. Copy me on the email, and we can go from there. Yes, sir.
What if I take EDM instead of OR in first semester?
Why would you do that? Is there no room in OR? There's no more room in OR?
Sorry?
Is there any room in the operations research class?
No, actually I took EDM.
Right. So I'm asking you why you didn't register for operations research. Is there no more room in operations research, or is there room in operations research?
Because I would take
So is there room in operations research, or is there no room in operations research? Check to see if there's room. If there's room, you should take that class. If not, then you need to come see me. Okay? Okay.
There's sound reason for asking you to take the operations research course. Even though there are classes that don't have operations research as a prerequisite, the fact that you were doing model building in operations research, and it's an introduction to deterministic modeling of mathematical systems, using mathematics to represent a system. Many of the courses, the elective courses that are available to you, that's part of the process of taking those courses. That modeling process. It's good for you to have that in your background. It may not say that you have a prerequisite for operations research on that course, but if you have the operations research, you're much more successful.
Right. Again, part of the reason we recommend, or your advisors recommend, you take those courses is because future courses will assume that you already have the depth of that knowledge. I've seen way too many cases of students not taking the advice, not taking the classes that they should be, and after their first semester, they're in academic probation. They have a GPA below 3.0, and they end up either having to repeat the course that they didn't take in a future semester, or they need to take that original course that they should. They end up in academic probation for their second semester because that low grade from that original course is there. So it's not that we're trying to be difficult or obtuse or trying to prevent you from getting co-op opportunities. We do this to set you up for success, and we've been doing this over a number of years. So please register for the courses that were recommended. Again, if there are issues, such as you're having a restriction or the courses are full, come see me and we'll look at your case and we will make a recommendation. But if there's room in OR, if there's room in IE, you should be in OR and IE. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Facilities at a university, yes, as long as you have your Husky ID. So if you need your Husky ID, you can get that at Stearns Hall. It's on Huntington Ave across the train tracks next to the Marino Center. And as long as you've paid your student activities fee. So on your bill, there should be line items. For tuition, for student activities, there's an international student fee. So as long as you're up to date on your tuition payments, on your bill payments, and you have your activated Husky ID card, you should have access to the facilities here on campus. And that goes for part-time students too. All right, if that's it, please. Yes, sir.
So I've already got health insurance cover.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible to waive that from the fees that have been?
Yes, the question is about waiving the health insurance fee. So if you have your own health insurance, you can contact NUSHP, Northeastern University Student Health Plan, about waiving it. There's a form that you need to fill out, and you'll need to provide them some proof that you already have health insurance here. And if they approve that waiver, they will take that line item off of your bill. I want to mention that here in the U.S., here in the state of Massachusetts, we are required to have health insurance, so that's why it always appears on the bill. So if you have your own, you can go to NUSHP. They are over in Forsyth, which is the road that connects to Ruggles, and speak with them about getting a waiver. Alrighty? Anyone else? All right. Thank you for listening to us. Please come and take some water, coffee, and cookies to go. Take it to your friends that weren't able to come here. We will email this presentation out and this question and answer session out. We will also email the slide decks out. Please make sure to bookmark the links. If you have questions, you can speak with your academic advisors, Professors Cullinane and Professor Palike, your co-op advisor, Professor John Bleakney, Diane Yasger, or Pete Cardillo, who are not here, or myself, Laura Adrian, your student services advisor. Welcome to Boston. Welcome to Northeastern.